all of these things are very fluid and, you know, uh, according to my opinion. So there might not be a real good reason why I hate them and why someone else wouldn't want them. Because if you wanted to have one of these things, like you should, if you like them. So that's kind of, but I don't like them. So the first one was this sconces. And if you're unsure what a sconce is, just so that we all are on the same page, a sconce is these lights that are they don't have to be built into a bulkhead. They don't. They can be on the wall, or they could be maybe over your sink. But basically, that is a sconce. Of course, I kind of picked in my opinion, the ugliest ones to show for the video because there are ones out there that look pretty nice. But why don't I like these? I don't like them personally because I just think that this style is going to really quickly, like, it's going to pop in and pop out. And you just really have to like these if you're going to go with them. So if this is your jam and you really like this idea, then that's great. I just think it's not one of those trends that are going to last and, stand the test of time. So therefore I don't like them. And it's just not my thing. I prefer recessed lighting and maybe under cabinet lighting, which they might have or they might not. It's hard to tell in this picture. And you got to clean them. They are in the kitchen. I see somebody here mention that. Yeah, hard to keep clean. So it's like one of those things. I just don't like them. Now, do I have a reason for that? Well, it's kind of little reasons, but it's more of that. It's just not my taste. And so that is one of the reasons, you know, I'm not, Patty says the word sounds snotty. I like them in bathroom, not the kitchen. How do you like my sconces? Maybe that sounds snotty. I don't know. But the dusting of the sconces in the picture would be a serious pain. Yeah, so dusting those ones. I mean, there are other ones that look quite nice, but it's just not my thing. And so trying to explain that in a video where I'm just saying I love something or hate something, it's kind of a moot point because there's not much to explain. I just don't like something. I don't like it. So now, of course, in maybe the right setting, the right kitchen, they look good. But if something is talked about as being like a really hot trend and someone puts it in their kitchen but doesn't belong there or doesn't look right, then maybe it's not the best decision. Of course, unless you just like it, right? Because that's really what trends come down to. You like them or you don't like them. The rest is no one else's opinion really matters. And when you're looking online for interior design advice, well, you're getting you are getting a little bit of opinion in with that, no matter who you're listening to. So that goes without saying. However, there's lots of great people out there you should be listening to. All right, let's go to the next one. Trends that I love and hate. Cool. All right, so the next one was quartz. This was the big one that kind of got me in trouble. Not really any trouble. Hi, Jeff. Um, but when you say that you hate something like this, it's like you're telling the majority of the population who want to buy countertop that you don't like their decision. And so it was risky. I got to admit, it was risky. I was almost going to like either leave it out or just say that I do love it, but I actually just don't. And I have lots of videos on quartz talking about how it's made and the benefits of it. Of course, I did a video where I tested quartz, I stained it and beat it and did all that stuff, lit it on fire. I had a weird, funny video back not that long ago where I'm just talking about the reasons I don't like it. It's not as or as heat resistant as I'd like it to be for the amount of money that I'm paying for something like that. And compared to granite and other natural stones, I don't think it holds up quite the same way. Now, is it a good choice for countertop? Yeah, it's a great choice for a countertop. And it just, if all things being equal and the budget was the same for either a granite or a quartz, I just personally would go with a natural stone. So it's not that I actually hate quartz in the sense that, I sold a lot of quartz in my lifetime. So, I had no problem selling it. It was, but back then when quartz was really coming on the market strong, I mean, it has been for a long time, but when I was selling it in the early 2000s, it was just it. Like, why would you want anything else? Nobody was asking for anything else. No, granite was really starting to, natural stones were taking a back seat. And, it was one of those things. That's just what you sold. That was the really good thing. But the more and more I think about it and look at it and just, analyze it for myself, the more I realize it's just not for me. And there's other things that I prefer or would like to prefer. Now, I'm saying all this with a kitchen that has laminate countertop on it. Okay. So it's not like I've had quartz in my kitchen and I'm just speaking to you from years of experience using quartz. I don't have that experience. I've sold a lot of it. I've seen a lot of it. I've beat it with hammers, a lot of it, but I have laminate. All right. So my opinion is grain of salt opinion. However, in saying that, when looking at if I was going to purchase it, there are some things that I would rather it be better at than what it is. And granite, to me, has those things. Okay, let's go to the next one. I so let me just put your fear or just this question to rest. Granite will hold up for a long, long, long time. It likely has a very good warranty. The only thing you shouldn't do is just take a scalding hot pot and put it directly on it. Other than that, you can use that thing. Don't worry about it. It's going to stand up for you. So for me personally, I would just rather be able to put a firing hot pan right on my countertop, like you can with a porcelain or a Decton or ultra compact surface and many stones. But a lot of people don't worry about that. And the fact of the matter is, I have laminate now, so I don't put anything hot on that, and I also use a trivet, so it's not that big a deal. So don't worry about your quartz. There's a reason why almost everybody in the world buys it, and you know and there's a reason why it's number one on our poll right now. So no worries there. Of course, everything has faults, but don't hit it with a sledgehammer. I mean, it could be that. All right, let's do the next one. Let's do the next one. The next one was, where's the next one? I'll get to it in a second. I don't know why people don't get notifications and some people do. I have no idea why, especially if they have notifications turned on. But there is no neither button. You got to pick one. You got to help us out with this. Okay, let's keep going. The next one was butcher block. Butcher block. Why don't I like butcher block? Let's have a look. It looks beautiful. It looks so warm and rich. It is a great surface to use for prepping food, and I like it on islands and lunch counters and in particular spots, maybe baking centers or whatever. I just don't like it as a full countertop because, especially around a sink, and we talked about this on the live stream before, that is going to get a little more grimy and gross than like even a laminate would or other types of countertop material, just because it's wooden. And while the top is normally sealed with linseed oil or whatever kind of maintenance package that you're told to use with it, underneath that is wood is just very porous. It's so porous, it's going to draw in that water. And so for that reason, I'm just not a fan of it. I'm a little concerned. And part of that, I was watching a video that where they removed their butcher block. It was very similar to this picture, and underneath was just really, really gross. And so for that reason, I would be leery of it in a full kitchen setting. So it's not that I don't like the look of it. I do like it. I think butcher block looks gorgeous, and I've sold a few butcher block, you know, kitchens like over my lifetime, but not a lot. And that would be one of the reasons why I would say probably not the best solution. But of course, to each his own. And maybe with a top mount sink, it might be a little bit better if it's sealed properly. But when you're getting countertop like that, normally you want to have something that's either undermount, or in this case, it was a apron front sink. And so just things to be careful of, like that ridge, that reveal of the sink. I don't have a mouse I can put on there, but that reveal is going to that's going to just going to become really gross. And you have to have a zero reveal, because if it's underneath, that's even going to be worse. So right. So, but again, the word Mason, hey Mason, the word maintenance scares people off of natural stone and possibly butcher block as well. Yeah, I would say natural stone, very little maintenance. Um, Butcher block a little bit more. It does need to be taken care of. But natural stone, some natural stones are so dense that people don't even seal them at all, and they're fine. So, um, you know, it's not really that much maintenance, right? But you're right, the word does scare people. They don't wanna have to, like, maintain it, and where quartz is no maintenance as far as you don't have to do anything. You still have to clean it, same with anything else. So, I think you're right about that word scares people. And, yeah, you saw that same video. They were like, I forget who it was, but they were doing this part of their kitchen. Anyway, it looked really nice in the end, but that was kinda gross, I thought. Okay, let's do the next one. I'm doing wood around our sink with drop-in. Well, there you go. Just make sure it's sealed really, really well. Obviously you do. It's not like, oh, really? But just make sure it's sealed. Okay, let's go to the next one. What was the next one? All right, handmade tiles was the next one. Handmade tiles. And again, not I don't hate these. In fact, a lot of them look great. I picked green ones for this one because why not? But a handmade glazed tiles look fabulous. I am just into these days big slab backsplashes. And for that reason, this had to go on the hate list. Not because you shouldn't get it or it's no good or whatever. There's so many great tiles out there. But again, when you're doing a video where you just have to love or hate something, right? Same with our poll. It's either quartz or granite. There's no in between. There's no neither. There's no explanation. Then you just have to pick one. And for that reason, I had to put it in the hate pile, because if I had the choice between the two of going with a big slab, full piece, full on backsplash, or tiles, I'm going to pick this. And I'm done with the grout thing. But again, it's not because it doesn't look nice or it's a bad idea. It's not. It's a great idea if you like it, if you don't mind the grout. And on a backsplash, it's not that big a deal. It should be sealed. It should be, just cleaned. But other than that, it looks good. Just for me, not my thing. So that's why. Like I said, a lot of these things that I don't like, it's not because there's anything wrong with them. It's just that was my opinion. And again, you have to pick one. So yeah, and there's another reason. If you don't like uniformity, you don't like handmade tiles, and that's kind of the whole point. They're not identical, and some people don't like that. Um, but again, for me, it's just because I like full on big backsplash. So that's why. Cool. We're tracking good. Let's keep going to the next one. I'll jump in your comments in a bit here, and so keep them coming. I'll try to get through. We'll take a break here in a minute. How many we want? 2, 3, 4. We'll do one more, and then we'll take a little break and get in the comments. The next one was knobs. Knobs. What's wrong with knobs? They look great, right? These are nice. It's kind of an older style kitchen. Oh, where'd that go? A little older style, we're talking like a decade old. as far as the glazing goes on these cabinet doors and those knobs. I'm just not a fan of knobs, you know? I don't like knobs. I like 96 mil handles, maybe 128, sometimes 3-inch, but not very often. That's what I like. There's no explanation for that. It's one of those things, I either like it or I don't like it. Maybe you have knobs and you love them. Maybe you have a mix and match of some handles, some knobs. Some people like to put knobs on uh, doors or drawers, you know, and mix it up. Um, Again, I don't like long handles. It's like I'm very particular with the type of handles that I like, and I like them because that's just what I like. So that's another thing. That's one of those things. I personally wouldn't put it in, so it goes in like the hate pile. But there's nothing wrong with knobs. So again, of all of these, really, you know, it's really a matter of opinion. Except the quartz, it's less of a matter of opinion. There, I do actually have some reasons which I mentioned of why I wouldn't go with quartz. But everything else, you know, it's here nor there, right? So no knobs. If you want to be trendy, no knobs. Yes, I always catch my belt loops on those blasted knobs. I've done that before on a handle actually, where the handle sticks out past where the, you know, the screw mounts are, and yeah, hook your belt loop or something on that. Takes you for a spin, spins you right around. You know, it's one of those things people like them or not. That's one of the reasons people don't like them because you can get hung up on them. However, they are good to hang dish towels on. If your dish towel has one of those little ring, you know, little ring thingies, you stick on there. Yeah, they're so pretty, but those little suckers on low cabinets, yuck, right? I mean, it's really preference. And the funny thing with that particular video, and the one I'm talking about, of course, if you didn't see it, posted it Saturday, what I love and hate. You know, 25 kitchen trends that I love and hate. Uh, some people were saying like, oh, I liked 18 of the ones, you know, or like, you know, I didn't like hardly any of the ones you said. Like, it's all a matter of opinion, especially when it comes to trends and things like this. Now, when it comes to a kitchen that's functional, I have much, you know, I have a lot of more to say about that because that has to do with usability, and it's more, it's not as subjective in my opinion. But with trends, it's like, wow, you know, how do you like my shirt? How to survive a kitchen rental? Empty kitty. I got this one on today. And Michael suggested I do something that says something about green kitchens. He's coming on tomorrow. He loves green kitchens. I don't like green kitchens. We're going to talk about that next in a minute. And hopefully I get a t-shirt made for tomorrow when he comes on. Something to do with green kitchens. I don't know. I love green kitchens or something shocking. Very good. Very good. I'm missing so many comments, and so if I don't get to one or I miss you, my apologies. I'm going to jump in here now, though, and let's just take a look at our poll for a minute and see where we're at. Well, so far, granite is in the toilet. Quartz is in the lead, 70-30. So there you go. Not like I knew it would be any different. That's the way it is in the market right now. Everybody loves quartz. That's fine. Right? I love laminate, so, you know. Okay, here we go. Kelly loves the shirt. Thank you, Kelly. Someday I'll have a merch shelf maybe on my channel. I could do it now, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Clothes get caught up on the knobs, which is annoying when you're cooking, moving around your kitchen. Yeah, you could like hurt yourself doing that. There you go. You like the look, you do get hooked. You know, it's you gotta play that out. This is good. Green is for spending on kitchens, not for putting in kitchens. That's going on the shirt. That's what should be on the shirt. Green is for spending, not for your cabinets. I love it, Jackie. Very cool. Best use on top cabinets, yeah, the knobs. So I mean, there's lots of there's no right or wrong when it comes to some of these things, and it's always good to know. Good that nobody likes granite. We are getting ready to redo the kitchen, and maybe the prices will drop. Maybe. It depends on where you're getting it from, you know, and normally I I I haven't looked lately. I should probably look and know this off the top of my head, but I haven't looked lately. Normally, like Home Depot can give you kind of a good gauge on what the pricing is, but quartz and granite are there's there's a crossover there for the most part. So, and it depends on where you go to get it. If you get it from a granite yard, a stone yard, or if you get it from a store like Home Depot, everybody has a different markup that they put on those things as well. Thoughts on people using beadboard for backsplash? That's in the sconces category, in my opinion, of one of those things that will probably just come and go, and it I don't think it's going to be um, something that really takes off because it's wood, and on the backsplash, most people probably have a negative opinion about having wood there. However, I think it looks cool. I like the look of it. I don't dislike it. I mean, I like shiplap, so I'm in that category of people. So I like the look of it, and in fact, I've seen people use beadboard, wooden beadboard inside a shower, and they sealed it, with exterior sealant and coat it and all that stuff, and it looked really, really interesting. Um, so I don't have a problem with beadboard as a backsplash, as long as it's vertical. I don't know if I'd like horizontal. Maybe I haven't seen it horizontal. Um, but how how feasible it is in the kitchen, I'm not sure. Again, it's one of those things that probably will be more of a fad than a trend and something that really takes off than something that sticks around for a long, long time. But yeah, I don't necessarily hate that. However, if it was on that video, I'd probably put it in the hate pile because I'm thinking it would be difficult to clean. Like when you're cleaning tile, it's different than when you're cleaning even uh, gyprock, paint on gyprock. Um, and the same with wood that would have to be sealed and stained a particular way, so it might be difficult to clean. All right, all right, but I think it looks cool. Okay, my granite was less than quartz price at the stone yard, so I was extra happy. Yeah, I would say that would be pretty consistent across the board, right? I think so, depending on the granite you're getting. I am laminate all the way. I am with you all the way. Oh, granite's down 29%. Shoot. Oh, well. Yeah, I'm a fan of the laminate. Yeah, it's just where my wallet is right now. And. Okay. Yeah, I see. Awesome. Yeah, vertical is what you're seeing. Cool. I'm just kind of going through these, so bear with me for a second. We'll jump back into these trends in a second as I just rifle through some of these comments. I want to get you. Oh, here we go. Do you see? Hello. Dash dash. Do you see trends that are more popular in the States than in Canada you don't like? I'm guessing both countries are about the same. Yeah, I would say pretty similar um, for trends. I don't see Canada as or the real trendsetter in a lot of regards. We get a lot of cues from the States and we get a lot of cues from Europe. That's not to say that we don't have trendy things, but I would say that those would be very, very similar overall. Yeah. Oh, I'm in Southern California. Oh, what do we pay the sunshine extra price for everything? Yeah, it's funny. I'm where I'm at. I pay like the cold winter price extra for everything. So I think it's like I don't think you're gonna win no matter where you go. All right, here we go. Sorry, Mark. What? We're getting rid, hi Tina, of our 1958 yellow countertops and going for quartz. But the laminate did last all these years. See, it did last all these years. And take a picture of it, hang it on your wall. You get a good choice. Jeff, your countertop doesn't get mentioned much. Is it acrylic? Is it corian? Remind me. Tell us what it is. I'll put it in a poll. We'll do a new poll just for your choice. I mean, these granite and quartz are like just, maybe we'll do a new poll, or I'll add a poll. Let me know what it is. Oh, stainless. Okay. All right. Stainless versus what? I'll create a poll. We'll do it. Stainless versus what? Laminate. Let's do that one. Stainless versus laminate. All right. You got to keep voting though. Let's do another poll. Can I do another poll? It's not letting me. Maybe I can only do one poll. I got to end a poll. Oh, okay. I'll let this ride out for a little bit longer. Oh, what is this now? Is Rubato? I have actually not heard of it, so I don't know. I don't know on that one. A lot of sink brands out there, and yeah, it's hard to get a task on all of them. I know why he's against it. It's because it's wood. Cool. When I started working in the cabinet shop, the hottest trend was solid surface. Now it's hard to find anyone that has a solid surface countertop. The hottest trend in my area is granite right now. Yeah. When I started in the kitchen design business, solid surface was pretty popular as well in terms of like the next upgrade from laminate. That would be like the big next step that people would go to would be acrylic, Corian or Staron. Mostly it was Corian back then. Now these other brands come online. And yeah, it's the same here. You hardly ever hear of it anymore. Probably the last decade of my time actually in a showroom selling kitchens and these countertops, I can count on one hand easily the amount of times I've sold it. But interestingly enough, the guy who taught me kitchen design and trained me, super great guy. He has it in his kitchen and loves it. Um, so there you go. And he's actually a rep for a laminate company in Quebec, in Canada, for the East Coast. But he loves his Staron he has, and he swears by it. So you're right. I wonder if it'll see a resurgence. I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's very, very cool. There's so much you can do with it, right? Okay, let's get back into it. And oh, here we go. Yes, quartzite seems more expensive than granite, but maybe some cost less spin and color and dazzle. Yeah, of the natural stones, quartzite tends to be a little bit more, but quartzite is a granite. It's my favorite one. I love quartzite. I think it looks amazing. But again, it all comes down to price for a lot of people. So all right, let's jump in. Let's go back. I'll be staring at these comments forever, and I want to get back into this, and then I'll jump back into the comments in a little bit. So the next one on our list, where do we end off with? Okay, green kitchens, everybody. Green kitchens. I had to apologize. I apologize right in the video. I'm sorry to the clients that I have, because I have clients that have green kitchens that we did green kitchens with. Barbara, who I didn't see on here yet, but she's going with green, and there's a few other people that I did kitchens for. They all want green. However, for me, I just am not a fan. So again, and this one has knobs on it. I mean, come on, what are you thinking? You can't do this. This is a bit much, of course. Like your walls are green too. I don't know, but to each his own. There's no ventilation over that range, so something's wrong with this. I don't know what's going on here. And this layout design is just brutal, so I don't want to tear it apart. But some people love green kitchens, and some people don't love green kitchens. I'm on the don't love. However, to each his own. And it's just a color, right? My grandmother's favorite color was green, but it's just not my favorite color, and that's okay. So that would be one of those trends of someone's like, well, why not green? Like what? Well, just I don't like it. So I prefer white for a kitchen. I like blue, I like black, I like wood tone, I like, I'm just not a fan of the green. So there you go. But you're right. A bit too much of green. Maybe the base cabinets. I don't know. Don't know. I don't know. I don't think I could. I don't think I could do any green, but they really went for it. I don't know why they didn't do the countertop green in that one. But at the end of the day, here you go. There you are, Barbara. When I filmed that video, Barbara, I thought of you. And then, of course, Michael loves green kitchens from Kitchen Cider, so I apologize to him as well. I'll have him on tomorrow. And my thumbnail for that video has this picture in it with me and him. So it's just kind of a throw over to that. What about the trendy plum and pinks? I not a super fan of, again, because it's going to come up in a here in a minute why. But again, I mean, it's not that it doesn't look great or can't look great, but like all of these trends, you either love them or you don't love them. You have some things you just don't have a reason for. Um, Matthew, I agree with you, but sometimes you just don't have a reason for them. Just what you lean towards. That range is totally. Um, Here's my thought on this kitchen. It's just painted, and it wasn't new cabinets. Because if you were going to redo this kitchen, you would never really do this. So, but they should never have painted it green. Anyway. The blue lamp offsets the green. I noticed that blue lamp. I'm like, that's an oddly interesting blue lamp. Yeah, well, at least there's no sconces in this one, right? Let's go to the next one. If you got green cabinets, or if you are using, My Kitchen Design Service, and you want green, don't be afraid to ask for anything. Like I go on about OTRs, corner cabinets, certain things that I like or don't like. But if you're in a design situation and you want something, like make sure you ask for it, and that's really important. No, this would never happen. Would never happen. I mean, I guess as long as I can make supper or someone can make supper, that's all good. Really, I don't care what color they are. But people have reasons. Like Monique is saying that green is a warm color, where blue, white, gray are cooler colors. I love a warm kitchen. Um, so that's a great reason to go with green. If you like that, if you want a warm kitchen. Maria, once an architect told me, on a low budget, go always for white. You can always give a touch of color with some plants and pictures and decorations. Yeah, interesting. Sort of depends. That is true in a way and not true in a way, because most custom cabinet makers have a lineup of colors that are like just in their lineup. They have white, they have a blue, maybe they'll have a green, they'll have a whatever. And those colors are the same price. Like to get a cabinet painted is, say, a 15% upcharge, as opposed to getting a cabinet stained, which is maybe a 10% upcharge. Where natural, if you're just going to clear coat it, isn't 0% upcharge. Now, if you want to get a color that's custom, you're paying that 15% plus probably another 10% for the custom color that has to be, made particularly for your kitchen. And so it can be more expensive to go with a color as opposed to white, but not always necessarily. But the premise of this is you can always add something to it to liven it up, which I totally agree with. Hey, 5610 Winston. Hey, thank you for being here. My 51 stud bake. Whoa, sorry, I can't read. I thought you were talking about a sledgehammer, your stud breaker, but it's a Studebaker. I'm sorry, it was a shade green. I like green, but not in the kitchen decor. Sounds amazing. Not a stud breaker. I don't know why I read that way. No air ventilation in that kitchen. I don't know what's going on. Like I said, I think it's just a painted job. They didn't do anything. Is 600 CFM for a range hood good enough? I think 600 CFM is definitely good enough, and probably past the point where I think it's past the point where you need makeup air. So make sure you have some airflow coming into the kitchen because you're taking air out of the kitchen. That's really important. CFM 600 is pretty good. Like probably like 1,000 would be really great. I don't know what mine is. I'd have to like study up on ventilation a little bit more. I just do know that you need makeup air after. I thought it was 324 CFM. So I I think that's good. Depends on how noisy that thing is. Here we go. Should the hardware match kitchen faucet and appliances? No. No, it shouldn't. There's no real need for that, in my opinion. Some people will tell you because the trend of mixed metals is very popular. It's very difficult to find hardware that matches everything. It's really, really difficult. Even with appliances, if you're getting different brands, even if they have the same, um, you know, finish, they're not always exact unless those companies are all under the same company and they have the same things going on. But a lot of the times it's not the case. Finding a sink and faucet and hardware all to match and sconces and other things, you just drive yourself, bananas trying to get that figured out. I think that's the reason why mixed metals is like on point as being trendy because we're all like, this is impossible to make this work. So even with white, you can't even match it, or black. Like it's all so different, and so no, I don't have a problem with that at all. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're growing and it's going good. So I appreciate everyone who watches. Of course, if you're on live tonight, we are talking about the kitchen trends that I hate and why I hate them. And a lot of the times there is no reason why I hate certain things or why you don't like certain things because it's just your personal preference. And the video on Saturday where I loved and hate 25 kitchen trends got a little bit of feedback saying, well, why don't you like this thing? And so I thought we'll come on. We'll just talk about the ones I don't like in this video, in this live stream, so that I can share some of these things. We can chat about them. And it's, trends are interesting to talk about because they're so, to me at least, they don't mean a whole lot. I like what I like, and it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks. Um, and it shouldn't matter what anyone else thinks in your kitchen, which is, what most people think about anyway. Okay, cool. So we're on the same page. Let's keep going, and I'll jump back into into the comments in a minute. I want to keep going here. Let's see, where are we at? We did green kitchens. We can go past that. I apologize to everyone who has green kitchens. Michael and I will talk about green tomorrow, I'm sure, when we're chatting. Make sure you check the live stream out tomorrow if you can. It's at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time because Michael's in the UK and it's the time difference is 5 hours between me and him. So we want to make it so that we get the most amount of audience possible, and that seemed to work the best. So special live stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and hopefully if you're watching in the UK or somewhere in Europe, you can jump on and catch that, or anywhere else in the world, of course. Okay, the next one, curved cabinets. Da 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 da. Curved cabinets. Let's go. These come in a variety of, not shapes. They're curved, but I mean they come in a variety of layouts. I guess is the term. So this one's a little bit over the top, obviously, and that's why I picked it. Of course, I do like the wood. I think it's really interesting the inlay they have going on there, and but all the curvature in the spot between the fridge and I guess it's a pantry or something, and then the island being this oval, interesting oval. This is a very nice kitchen. There's nothing wrong with this, but I just think curved cabinets are one of those, you know, trends, and they've been around for a long time. It's not like they're new. They have popped their head in and out for a long time. But for me, it's basically just a style choice. It doesn't really transfer over into, functionality in terms of usable space inside a cabinet. And that would be the only reason why I probably don't like them. Not necessarily because they don't look nice. They look different for me because I'm just so used to a bunch of rectangular boxes. But like Michael said, very 70s on the curved cabinet. Yeah, they curved have been around for a long time. And they like I said, they come and go a little bit as far as trends go, but this was on a trend list, and I don't think it really belongs on a trend list as far as something that's trending. I don't think this is going to trend. Um, and we get a little bit, yeah. Hi, Megan. Uh, curved cabinet ick. that that could be a good T-shirt, actually. Curved cabinets ick. It's just one of those trends. Like we get, I think at least, and maybe you agree or disagree. I don't know that we get trends and fads mixed up a little bit. There's some things that just trend, and the reason they're trending is because consumers are purchasing them and buying them, and so they're becoming a trend. That's the that's the path that things are going in. Where some things are fads, and they come in, they come out, they're popular for a small amount of time, and then they're not. And I think curved cabinets will never amount to being a trend. And so that's why they were on that something I don't like. Not necessarily because I don't think they can look nice. They can maybe in the right setting, but they're just not for me personally. And yeah, right. The wood is pretty, but yeah. So but no, if you're going with curved cabinets, you're obviously going with something that's highly custom, because you're not going to find a lot of that in something that's RTA or semi-custom. Um, and honestly, and